Please ask your questions.
جناب عبداللهی فکر میکنید که این طلا چقدر
Mr.
دیگه
Abdullahi,
پایین‌تر بزنه یعنی از اینجا رو بشکنه
how long do
خیلی
you think the
میرسه
gold is going to come down? The gold is on the
آره
weekly pivot.
اینو نمیشکنه بیاد پایین‌تر چون بریزه
So,
خیلی
do you
باید
think it's
بریزه
going
تو
to break
دیلی
this
نگاه
pivot
کنید
or not? Because if it declines, it's going to decline so much if you look at the daily chart. Naturally, it should. It should reach this area. I think it's 50 or 61 level. Yeah, it's the 50 level.
بله دقیقا
So it
میخوره سر
has to reach the 50 level.
سر این قله های این طرف میخوره
So it's going to reach the tip of the swing highs here, right? Yes, exactly. But the
امروز خیلی
decline
نوسان
is going to
داشته طلا
continue. The gold chart has had many fluctuations today. Yes, because the market is not sideways anymore. You're going to have a very good market this week. Hi. Hi. Have a good day. The gold chart is at the weekly pivot. Please go on. Can you please move on to the oil chart? I have a sell order here and I don't know what to do. You have to close the sell order. That's what I did for myself as well. You have a pivot here. And also, news is published about the oil. And it's probably going to give you a correction up until the 69 level. But the daily and weekly candlestick has been opened. But I'm talking about the American oil chart. Yes, in the oil chart it has opened the price. You have a pivot here. If you have started the order from the top, you can keep it because the pivot is exactly here. The price has reached here and retraced, but it is going to decline because you don't have an ascending signal yet. Okay, so anybody has any questions or problems?
جناب عبدالله این تو تدریساتون ایچیموکو هم درس میدید یا
Mr. Abdullah, are you going to teach us the Ichimoku strategy? No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to teach you that. There are some videos
بله
I can send you.
متشکرم
Thank you. Please remind me on the group to send the video for you so that everyone can watch it. So, this session, let me see what we're going to talk about. Where are the rest of the students? Do they know we have a class right now? You see, in this part of your teaching, you want to know how to determine our take profits and stop loss accurately. We have talked about it before, but we're going to review it again so that you don't have any problems or questions in this subject. Let me move on to a chart that I haven't traded on. Hi. Okay, so in the USD CAD chart in our hourly time frame, if you open an order in a time frame, that is because you have analyzed that time frame, right? So If you're analyzing the short term or midterm or long term time frames, you have to trade on that exact time frame as well. So in our USD CAD chart, in this chart, it is obvious that we have an uptrend. And if you draw the trend line, you see that it has broken it. And based on the Fibonacci, it is giving us a correction warning. And the pivot is right here, the 61 level. If I want to buy on this chart, I should put my take profit below the pivot. I'm not going to stick it to the pivot, exactly below the pivot. I'm going to put it a little bit distant from the pivot. Excuse me, I can't hear you well. Is it better now? Yes, it is. Okay, so we determined the take profit based on the pivots. I know that I have an uptrend, so how long it's going to go up? The pivots tell me. So I will put my take profit a little bit far away from my pivot. I'm not going to stick it to the pivot exactly. You see that I have an open close pivot here and another one here. So I put my take profit a little bit distant from those. So what about my stop loss? You see, when we have a continuation signal from a candlestick, not an engulfing one, and that is confirmed and it's going to go up, I will put my stop loss on my hourly time frame below the candlestick. Below the candlestick from now, because if it wants to go back and reach the target that I have determined, it is going to be an engulfing candlestick, so I don't want to lose any more money.
We determine the stop loss like this only when we have a continuation candlestick. But if we have a swing high or a reversal candlestick, we put our stop loss where the pivots are, where the price has been closed and it has formed a swing high. That is where we put our stop loss. But in this situation, when the previous candlestick was a continuation candlestick and it was conformed and the candlestick is opened and we have the confirmation that it's going up, we put our stop loss below the candlestick from this moment so that it has a distance with it. You see, maybe there's this very small candlestick here and you have another candlestick next to it, and maybe you think that you should put your stop loss there. But in this situation, the candlestick has a distance from it, and the candlestick is big. But if we had a small candlestick here, I'm going to put my stop loss below this candlestick. Another example. Let's see what we have in our scalp tradings. For example, I just want to test it. I'm not going to trade. Imagine we have an ascending signal here. So if I start buying, I should put my stop loss below this continuation candlestick. And I will put my take profit based on the pivots. I don't have any pivots, and here I'm going to move on to a longer time frame. For example, this candlestick here, based on the candlesticks, I will put my take profit here. So I put my stop loss based on a continuation candlestick that I have, and I put it below the previous candlestick that was completed, because if the price reaches this, it is probably going to decline even more. So that is why where I put my stop loss. I would not put my stop loss below this area.
زیر این قیمت نمیذارم.
I'm not going to do that.
خب حد سود من بر اساس
And I determined my take profit based on the pivots,
پیوتی کندلی گذاشتم.
our candlestick
یا
pivots.
مثلا چارت
Or for example,
که خودش اینجا پیوت داره برمیگرده.
it has a pivot here, so it's going to retrace there.
این که گذاشته. مثلا طلا.
For example, in your gold chart,
طلا مونت ثبت میکنم.
I'm going to wait
نرسیده به این قیمت ها چون اینجا خودش پیوته.
before it reaches this area, because we have pivots here. So in this area, I'm going to start buying.
حالا چند پیپ بالاتر پایین‌تر.
Maybe it's a few pips higher or lower, it doesn't matter. But I will put my stop loss.
محدودا میاد.
You see, the price is going to reach this area.
مشخص کنید.
I want to determine my stop loss here. If I want to do that, I put my stop loss above where the swing high has been completed.
عکس شده دیگه الان.
You see that it's
نیستش که من
reversed.
اینجا بذارم. وقتی
I don't put my stop loss here. When you're doing the opposite order,
میگردم اولین قله‌ای که برام
I'm going to look for the first swing high that I have, which is here. So I will put my stop loss right there.
بالاترین ببینید با اینجا که نمیام اینجا بزنم. این چون
I will not put it there because the price is going to reach this, I'm sure.
ببندش.
I don't want to close the deal there based on the spreads or anything. I will put my stop loss based on the swing high that was formed in the past in this area. So what about the take profit? How do we determine that? Based on the swing low pivot that we have there.
با فاصله می‌کنم.
I will put a little bit of distance between them. We have a swing low pivot here, and we had a pivot here in the past as well, which has caused a retracement.
مثلا مدل حالا تایم 5 دقیقه است.
We were on the 5-minute time frame here.
تایم
Let's move on to
مثلا چارت نه.
let's move on to the oil chart.
اینجا که پیوتش.
You see the pivots there.
مثلا اگه اینجا اوردر فروش رو اینجا باز کرده
So
بودم.
if we have opened a sell order here, I would have put my stop loss.
اینجا به طور مثلا فرض کن پیوت نداره.
Imagine we don't have any pivots here and the next candlestick wants to decline. It's just hypothetical. If I have opened a sell order here, I will put my stop loss above its candlestick because there is a lot of distance between them and the candlestick is big. So if it wants to go up and reach my stop loss, and if it forms a candlestick with a shadow, I'm going to get an ascending signal. But right now, my stop loss is this one.
اینکه مثلا الان ببینید
For example, look at this one. In the 5-minute time frame, we have a swing high candlestick.
سیگنالش هم خوبه.
And it is giving us a very good signal, and the next candlestick has been completed as an ascending one, and the fractal is there, my pivot is right here. So I will put my stop loss in this area.
حد سودم ببخشید.
Excuse me, I was talking about the take profit. I will put my take profit here, and I will put my stop loss below this shadow.
قله اصلی منه.
This is my main swing high.
و اگه این باز بشه تحلیل
So
من
if
فیل شده.
this is opened, my analysis will be incorrect and unreliable. But until that hasn't happened, unless that hasn't happened, I can say that because
احتمال داره مثلا قیمت بره
there's a possibility that the price goes up and then declines and reaches this, and after that it's going to go up again. So it's going to give me two swing highs. So you have to be very precise with your stop losses so that your order is not closed when it reaches the stop loss. And my 15-minute time frames will be here. The stop loss would be there. I will put a little bit of distance between them.
خب بعد مثلا ببینید اینجا
For example, in here, as you can see,
در تایم ربع ساعته
in our 15-minute time
یه
frame,
سیگنال افزایشی صادر شد کله
we
هست
see an ascending signal and it's a swing high, which is confirmed. So if I do a buy order here, I will put, because the candlestick has a distance here,
حد ضررمون زیر
I will put my stop loss below my candlestick
چون این فاصله گرفت اگه
because
طرف
it has a distance. But if it was small and it was
اینجا
here,
حد ضررم یه
I
پله
would
پایین
have
میشه
put
چی؟
my stop loss a little bit below that
حد سود
here.
من کجا میشه الان که
And
قیمت
my
ارتباط
take
خودش
profit, you see the
سود من
price is
میشه
at the
پیوت
pivot right now.
بعدی
So
یه اوپن کلوز
the
دارم یه
take profit will be
پیوت
at my next
کله‌ای
pivot. I
دارم
have a
بیس
swing
کندلی
high and an open close pivot right there. So I will put it here.
این سل منم باز کرد برگشت کرد خب الان مثلا ببینید این اسپرد
For
بیشتر
example, in
آزاد میشه
here, the
آتیلا
spread
آزاد
made the
میاد گذاشتن
price
اینجا رفته باز
decline
به اسپرد زد
and go
مثلا
further
الان
than this
ببینید
area.
حد سود من
So the take profit that I had,
حد سود من میشه جای
the
پیوتم
take profit is where our pivots
اینجا
are, right here.
اینجا و اوپن کلوز اینجا
We have three pivots and
حد
an
ضرر
open
من
close
کجا
one
میشه
there.
چون این کندل خودش
So
بشکنه
what about the
کندل
stop
حداقل
loss?
فاصله
Because
زیادی
we
نگرفت
have a
از این عضله
candlestick here and it's
حد
not,
ضررش با
it
میشه
doesn't have much distance,
بالاتر از
the
پیوتی که
stop loss
کسر
would
نشده
be above the pivot that we had in the past
این محدوده چرا این محدوده
in this
یه
area.
گوجه
And the
تری
reason
دارم
is that because
اینجا
we have a swing low pivot here,
یه پیوت اینجا دارم
another
یه
pivot
پیوت هم
there,
اینجا
and
دارم
another one here.
و جای مطمئن من اینجا هست
So the safe spot
و من
for me
نگران
would
نیستم
be
اگه قیمتم
this.
تو این محدوده اومد
So
برای
if the
نباشه حد
price
ضرر
reaches
من جمع
this,
بشه و دو بخواد بریزه به سمت پایین
I don't want it to touch the stop loss
و
and
تو
then
حد
decline again.
ضرراتو خیلی دقت کنید
So be very precise about where you put your stop
تو این مورد
losses.
سوالی داریم
Any questions about this?
در مورد حد ضرر سوال
About
هست
take profits or stop losses? Do you have any questions or problems? Excuse me, there's a fractal there. Isn't that a swing high? Let me find it. Yes, right there, in the middle, below that, where you have put your take profit. You mean this one? Yes. No, it's not powerful. We don't consider this. It's not powerful
شما
because
پیوتاتون پیوتاییتون یعنی روی پله پایین‌تر چندین پیوت روی یک مسیر داریم
you have
پس
pivots
این
a little
قیمت
bit
این همه
below
پیوت
that.
قوی رو نیست
So
من تو جلسات گذشته
this is
گفتم
not a
قیمت همیشه
powerful
دنبال کننده
pivot.
پیوت‌های مرکزی هست
I
چرا برای
told
این
you
میگیم
that
چون
the
کندل
price is always trying to reach the central pivots and powerful ones. So this one hasn't been opened yet, right? Yes, exactly. It hasn't been
اگه
broken
بخوایم
yet.
اسکلپ بزنیم
If
بعد
we're
بذاریم
doing scalp
اینجا
trading,
اگه بخوایم
yes, I
اسکلپ
will
بزنیم
put
یا
it
میذاریم
here.
اینجا ولی که شما دارید بر اساس
But right now
تحلیل دیگه میکنید تایم من چنده تایم من 4 ساعته
you're working on a 4-hour time frame.
تو این گفتن شما حد سود
You see,
حد
I
ضرر
told you that you
طبق
should determine your
تحلیلتون
take
و
profits
تحلیل
and stop
دقیق
loss
تایم
based on your analysis
تعیین
and based on
میکنید
the
که
time frame you're
حالا من
working
تایم
on.
وقتی 4 ساعت هست تحلیل
So
منم
now that I'm
4 ساعت هست پس
analyzing the
حد
4-hour
ضررم
time
هم بر
frame,
اساس تحلیل
I
4 ساعت هست
determine my take profit and stop loss based on that
این
time
ملاک
frame.
نی ببینید این
So
اصلا
this is
طبیعی نیست
not
چون که
a
خودش یه اوپن کلوز
powerful
اینجا داره
pivot for us because we have
یه
an
پیوت
open close
بالایی
pivot
اینجا
here,
داره یه
a
اوپن
swing
کلوز
high
هم
pivot
اینجا
there, here, and
و این
another open
فکت
close
افتاده
pivot there.
و قیمت قبلا یک بار
And the
اومده
price has
درست
reached
اشتباه
this
در واقع
place
دوباره
before.
قیمت
it has shocked the price, it has gone up, and after that it has gone down again. So if it was powerful, that wouldn't have happened. That is how you can understand if your pivot is powerful or not. When the price reaches that pivot twice, it means that it's not powerful enough. Is that clear? Yes. So when you say that it has reached it, you mean the fractal that it has touched? Or, excuse me, please repeat. When you said that the price has come close to that pivot and then it has retraced, you mean the fractal here? Yes, exactly, that area. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You see, exactly here. This is the second collision with this pivot. So this is your second candlestick there that is trying to reach this area. So that was about the stop loss and take profits, which is very important. Be very careful about it. Sometimes your stop loss is touched, and if your analysis was not correct and was not performed, is because your stop loss was not accurate. Did anybody have a question? I have a question. Please go on. When the spread is too wide, for example, at night, there's a possibility that this stop loss is going to be reached. What should we do then? No, it's not going to be that wide. Unless your price is in this area, for example, in here, and you have opened the order there, and then you have put your stop loss here. If you put your stop loss there with only 3 or 4 pips of distance, be sure that it's going to be touched. Sometimes very long shadows are formed in a candlestick. Is it possible that this would happen? You see, generally, stop loss should be where your swing highs or central pivots are. For example, when you put your stop loss there, your candlestick is not going to be forming a shadow and touch this. You see, when a shadow touches your stop loss, it means that it is part of your price. If you have paid attention, I always put my stop loss like this, in this area. You might have seen it a lot. That it's very different from where I put my take profits. So if you want to know what my strategy is, I put it where the swing highs are. Let me show you another example. For example, in your AUD chart, this is where I should put my stop loss naturally. And this is my take profit. I put it where my swing high is because this is my central one. I always consider the central swing highs. I'm not going to consider the small ones. Maybe it would even give me more profits if I do that. But because I'm busy and I'm not always online on the market, that's how I do it. But if you're always online on the market, you keep on checking your markets and you're doing scalp tradings or short-term tradings, you should put your stop loss here. But because I'm busy and I do long-term tradings, I will put my stop loss there according to that. So, and it has happened a lot that the price has come very close to my stop loss, but it hasn't reached it, and it has caused me a lot of loss. So you should put a little bit of distance between your pivot and your stop loss. For example, I would put my stop loss here. So that those 1 or 2 pips doesn't make you lose money. It has happened to me a lot. For example, I was
gaining $5,000 of profits, but before it reached my stop loss, it has retraced and it has made me lose money. Yes, exactly. That is the problem with the stop loss. Sometimes it comes very close to the stop loss and then it retraces. Yes, exactly. If you have paid attention to the stop loss here,
نیومدم
I
بچسبونم
haven't
جای خودش را
stuck it to the shadow.
این قول بیام بچسبونش دقیقاً
I
اینجا
haven't put it
ولی
exactly where
فاصله
the
داشته
shadow is. There's a little bit of distance between them, so that it could happen that sometimes the price reaches this shadow and after that it retraces. And the reason why I have put a little bit of distance between them is that because the spread doesn't make me lose.
خیلی مطمئن
I should be very safe.
حالا استاد بعضی استراتژی ها هستش اصلا حد ضرر
Yes, some
نمیذارن.
strategies are like
مثلا همین
in a way that they don't even determine your stop loss. Yes, you see, when I'm online on the market and I'm
باشم حد ضرر
trading on the market, I don't determine my take profit and stop loss.
خیلی وقت اصلا حد ضرر نمیذارم
Some
تو پشت
and my friend, when he is
آقای منصوری هم بود
online
برای اون
on the
نشون بده
market, he doesn't do that either when he is online.
آره اونم مثلا حد ضرر
And
نمی‌ذاره.
yes, another
اونم تو
person
2400 پشت سیستمه
does
خب
the exact same thing. Yes, that person, I know him.
یه
He's
اشتباه کوچیک
24/7 on the market.
تو نشون بدی خوش میده
Let me show you his
اشتباهات کوچیکی
account.
که بکنه خوبم گرفته
You see, he
اشتباه
is
کوچیک مثلا
gaining very
معاملاتش
good profits here. But you see, he may have a small mistake that would make him lose money.
ضرر نداره
But in a lot of our tradings, we don't determine the stop loss. We just determine the take profit.
این الان آره این بعد معاملاتش هم ببین درست رو پشت سیستم مرتب خب
And that friend that we talked about, he is always online,
ببین وقتی
but
داری
his
معامله
tradings
میکنی
are
خودت
midterm.
مدت میذاری حد
When you're
ضرر
doing
باید
midterm or
بذاری
long-term tradings, you
ببین
have
الان
to
این
determine
معامله
your
ممکنه
stop loss.
مثلا این معامله حساب کنی 64 پیپ 64 دلار سواب خورده
You
خیلی
see, for
وقت باز
example, this account here, this order has been
معاملاتش
open
همه
for a
بالا
very
مدتی
long time. If you look at the
استاد یه
swap, you
دوگانگی
will
همچین ما
understand.
داریم اگه استاپلاس بذاریم احتمالی که بزنتش و جهت عوض بشه هست
If
ولی
we put
بعضی
this
موقع میفته
stop loss, there
دوگانه
is a
میشه
possibility of
برای
retracement
همین میگم
or
حد ضررها رو بیاین جای
we're not
چیپتون
sure.
جای
Yes,
کوچیکی
that is
بکنین
why I tell
برجسته
you
بذارین
you should put your
ببینید
stop
الان
loss where your
اینجا
central pivots are. You see, for example, in
الان
here,
اینجا من این وقتی باز
if
بشه
this is
من اینو یه
opened,
جایی گذاشتم که اگه باز
I,
بشه
I have
بیش
put
از این
it
میریزه ببینید
in a
این
place that
کجاست
where this area is open, it's going to decline even more.
اینجا این قله
You see that we
خب
have a swing high
این
here,
وقتی
right?
باز
If the
بشه
swing high is
ببین قیمت
opened,
شما خیلی شدت میریزه
the
پایین
price
تا
is
اینجا
going to have a severe decline up until this open close pivot here.
بعد تعداد بیاین من میام جای مطمئن
So
میذارم
I will
مثلا
put it in a safe spot
چند پیپ خطا
with 10 pips of
جلوی
error,
چند پیپ خطا رو
but
آینده رو
instead
میگیرم
of
80
80 pips
ببینید
of
وقتی باز
loss, I'm
میشه
just going to
میریزه
have 10 pips of loss because if this one is open, it's going to decline even more. But if you
جای
don't
قله های
put a lot
مرکزی
of distance
مشخص
between
نکنید
your stop loss and your
مواظب باش
pivots,
حد ضررتون
and
رو
you
بذارم
don't
برگشته
locate your central
و
pivots,
خیلی هم
you
این
can be
اشتباهات
sure
میکنن
that your
اول
price
من
is going
نزدیک
to
به حد
touch the
ضرر
stop
میشه
loss
حد
and
ضرر
then
جابجا میکنم
retrace.
میارم پایین دور میارم پایین هی همراهش دارم میام پایین
You see, I keep on
خیلی خودش رو کشت
updating. Some
ببین خب
people
شما باید پایه بند باشی به قوانین
don't comply with the rules, but you should do
این
that.
فرق داریم آموزش دیدین دیگه
Now
شما
you have
این
been
چیه این قله
taught
ای یعنی
that this
قیمت
is your
بسته
swing
شده
high. It means that
خب
your
این
price has
بازی
been
برای
closed
اینم
here.
بوده
And you also
که
had a
قرار
swing
نیست که
low pivot
حتما
there.
100% اجرا
But
بشه یه
it
درصد
is
پای خودت
not
خطا بذاری خب این اگه
100%.
باز بشه
You
که بیش از
have
این
to
میریزه
make
پایین
room for a little bit of error.
پس حد ضررها رو
So
گفتم
I
مطمئن
told you
ترینشون قله
the
ها
safest spots for your stop loss are
خودت دیدی
your swing
2 ساعت
highs.
معامله زدم اینو
For
مثلا
example, in
ببین
here,
بر اساس همپوشانی
I
گرفتم بر
have
اساس
put this
تحلیل
here based on
همپوشانی
the engulfing
ببین اگه
analysis
واقعا
that
روی
I
4
did.
ساعت
But if
باشه
it's in a 4 hour
حد
time
ضرر
frame,
من میشه
my
این
stop loss would be in here, would be this.
حد ضرر من میشه این حد
And
سود
my
من
take
میشه
profit will
این
be
هر روز
this.
جابجا میشن
It would get
مهمه
updated.
رو چه تایمی داری ترید
It's very important what time frame you're
اون تایمه
trading on.
خیلی
The
مهمه
time frame
این حد
matters.
ضرر رو استاد گذاشتید برای پیوت ها دیگه.
You determine the stop loss based on the pivots, right? I put it below my 4-hour candlestick, but it's not very accurate. I will put it here.
مثلا بر اساس 4 ساعته
Based on the 4-hour time frame, it would be this, but based on the hourly time frame, I will put it here, below this candlestick.
بعد گاهن هست
اینه که
The best and safest spot is where your swing highs are.
به قول آیه احسان ترکی نوشته آن چیز مسخره دقیقاً اصلا این ریسک ریوارد یه چیزی اصلا جدیداً انداختن
This risk reward ratio doesn't mean anything because you determine your take profit and stop loss based on your analysis, and it's impossible to always put your take profit more than your stop loss. You see, I'm analyzing the charts. I know the price is going to reach this point.
بیاد اینجا از اینجا بره بالا
I have an ascending trend here, so it's not like that it's going to decline and then go up. So I think risk reward ratio
اساتید دیگه هم مثلا
is
داشته باشن من کاری به بقیه
not something you can rely on. Some other people may think it's a good strategy, but I don't think it's good because we're trading based on our analysis, not based on the risk reward ratio. In the risk reward ratio, your take profit is always more than your stop loss. And I had read in a book
حد سودتون باشه 100 حد ضررتون
that
50
if your
یعنی چی
take profit is 100 pips, your stop loss should be 50 pips. But that doesn't mean anything because you have to analyze your chart. For example, I'm analyzing the pound chart here, and I know that based on the candlesticks and based on the descending signal that it has given me, the sell stop here has been opened earlier than I thought. But if this place is opened, it's going to decline even more. So I will put my stop loss. If I want to
معاملات کوتاه مدت بگیری باید اینجا بذاری
analyze it correctly, I should put it here. But if I'm doing long-term trading, I have to put it above the swing high here. So I told you that when the price is open, this is in your 61 and 78 level, right? So if the price is open from there, it's going to reach the 78 and 89 level. So the price here has been open. That is what I'm talking about. If this price is open from the top, your analysis was incorrect and unreliable.
احتمال داره الان یک ساعت آینده بزنش احتمال
But if you've analyzed and
یعنی بازار اینقدر اینجا
put a target for yourself, the price is going to reach that target if your analysis was right. It could reach that target 2 days from now, or it could reach it right now. But
یعنی اینکه
with
بخواد
risk reward ratio, you're going to lose your money.
بعد اولا تغییر میکنه دیگه.
دقیقاً خب ما اصلا الان خودتون تو تحلیل
When you're analyzing and trading, when you have an upward movement, if the price is open, if the price opens there, you start buying, right? Yes, exactly, because the price is going up. Yes, we start buying because the price has been opened from the top. The swing high has been broken. So this is our criteria. This is what we consider if we have an uptrend. If we have a downtrend, the trend is going to change when the price is opened from the top there. You see, for example, look at the 15-minute time frame. This candlestick is going up. But that is because you are looking at a shorter time frame and your candlesticks are bigger now. But this is the main thing that you have to consider. Thank you. I have another question about the applications that the traders use.
میاد به سمتش که حد ضرر شما رو بزنه. یه چنین چیزی هستش واقعا که نسبت به حد ضرر حساس میشه.
In some applications, they get. Excuse me, can you please explain again? You see, for example, when you determine your stop loss, the broker or the application that you're using moves the price in a way that the price reaches your stop loss. No, you see, brokers cannot change the trend. For example, they can't change a downtrend to an uptrend.
از سرورهای متاکد دارن رد میشن خب
That is impossible.
نداره اون پلاگینه
But
وقتی قیمت شما نزدیک
if
به
the
حد
price
ضرر
is close to your
میشه
stop
میاد
loss,
حالت یه لحظه خیلی کوچیک بذاری
without
که شما
even
احساس
you
وای
sensing
اشتباه
this,
لمسش میکنه
it
پایینش تموم
widens the
میشه
price so that it touches your
یا
stop
اینکه
loss. That could happen.
میلیمتری
Or
میاد حد
it
ضرر حد
may
سود شما رو
it
جابجا
may
میکنن
move your
مثلا
stop
اصلا
loss
خیلی
by
مثلا توی این
a
اتفاقات
few
تو 5 ثانیه
millimeters,
یه چیز تابلوه چون بالاخره شما حد ضرر
but
میدونی
they don't usually do that because that would be too obvious because you know your exactly where you have put your stop loss, and if they change it you would know, so that when the price is close to your stop loss they widen the trend, they widen the price,
طوری به تعبیر میشه.
they kind of change the spread. But the price is always the same in all of your applications, and the brokers cannot change the trend. That is impossible.
حالا
Excuse
اتفاق
me, is
معمولی
it
استاد اینجوری
common?
میشه
Does
معمولا
it really
معمولا
happen a
نه
lot?
اینطوره فقط
No, it doesn't happen. You see, the plugin,
تمامی بروکرها
all of the
پلاگین
brokers
دارن
have the plugin.
تمامی بروکرها این
They
ابزار
all
پلاگین
have the
دارن
tool of
خریداری میکنن
plugin. They have
روی حسابهایی که
bought it.
مارکت میکری در
And
انجام شده و خود روی حسابهای مارکت میکری هم اجرا میشه نه حسابهای ECNی قابلیت اجراش
and
روی
it can't
ECNی
be
نیست روی مارکت
performed in
میکری هست همین
ECN
تصور میکنن که مشتریتون
accounts.
مثلا
It
تو
can
بنزین
only be
تنگی داره
performed
انجام
in your
میده
market maker
میخواد بره
accounts.
به
But
بروکر زنگ
sometimes
میزنه
because the
بروکر میگه یه اکتتاش
broker is
اجرایی میکنه
losing
این
money,
اکتتاش که
they
گذاشتن
may
باعث
do
میشه
this.
روی یه طرف خراب شدن استراتژیش به هم ریختن و باعث میشه معاملات
But
رو
it's
عجیب
going
به
to
معامله
ruin the
در بیاره
market and ruin the orders.
برای همین
درست
But
خیلی
a
باز
lot of people,
اعتقاد
because
ندارن
they don't
مثلا
know about this, they are
میدونن که
not
همچین اتفاقی
informed,
براش
they
افتاده
don't know
زنگ
that this
میزنن
has
به
happened. They
بروکر
call their
یا همچین اتفاقی
brokers,
افتاده
and
بروکر با
the
کلمات
broker
تخصصی حرف طرف رو
will
علیه
do a
خودش میکنه و
wordplay with them
ناموفق به تلفنتون قطع
and
میکنه
say
یا
tell
این
them
هم
things that they
مثل
won't
باگبانی
understand and
مثلا
deceive them.
خدای پلاگین هست این
But
معروفه
there is a
میگه
very
تا اون
famous
حالتهای
plugin,
شاد
and
شادی
the
ایجاد
shadows
میشه
and the
وایب هایی
whites
که
that you
ایجاد میشه و
see,
آلفایی
or
که
the
خبرهای
news, the important news that are
براش تا
published.
60 پیپ وایب
For example, in
میشه
your gold chart,
وقتی هم
at
رد میشه
night it
این چیز مال
widens,
قانون این مال بازار بوده
and
خبر اعلام شد
the
وایب
brokers may tell you
60
that it was because of the news that
میگه
was
آقا یه چیز
published.
وایبش
But it's
60
going to
پیپ وایب
be, it
بشه
has to be
تازه تو صد و
widened
بیست
up
پیپ
to a
واقعی هم
limit,
پیش اومده توش که وایب شده یا حالتا
or
شادو
it may
سازی
have
کرده
formed a shadow.
بله
Yes, that
دیگه
is
همون
exactly
گفتم
what I
خدمت انقدر
told you
وایب
this.
یکی
It
حد زده
widens, they widen the
ممنون
spread
استاد
so that
مرسی
it
که
reaches the
زحمت
stop
کشیدید
loss.
خیلی
Yes,
ممنون
exactly. Thank you.
پس بحث
Okay, so
حد
that
سود
was
حد
about the
ضرر
take
هم
profits and
متوجه
stop
شدیم
losses.
اینا
Be
رو
very
خیلی
careful
رعایت
about
کنیم
this.
مبحث
The next thing
بعدی
we're going to talk about. All right,
خب ببینید گذاشتیم فاکتور گیری من فاکتور گیری رو یه بار دیگه مرور میکنم
let's talk about the factors.
در چارت
For
مثلا
example, in
شما
the
ببینید
pound chart,
تحلیلی که ما میکنیم خب باید
we have
فاکتور
to
بگیریم ازش فاکتور گیری
factorize
بگیریم
the analysis
ببینید
that we have
اولین
made. We
موردی
have
که
to
من
get the
باید در
confirmation.
کارم
So the first thing that I draw and the
حسابی
first thing that I
بکنم
check
خط
is my
ترند
trend
هست
line.
ما خط ترندی در
We
گذشته
had a trend line
داشتیم
in the
شکست
past that was
خورد
broken here.
خب در اینجا من میخوام
So I'm
فاکتور
going to
بذارم
factorize
بر
this.
اساس
Based on
خط
the trend
ترند
line,
وقتی که
when
شکست
it
ایجاد
breaks,
میشه میگیم
we know
احتمال
that
70 الی
there
80
is a
درصد
70
در
or 80%
آینده یک
possibility
پول بک
that
ایجاد
we're
بشه
going to have a pullback in the future.
این فاکتور اولو که
So
گرفتیم شکست روند
that is one
ریزشی ما بوده
factor
که
for
قیمتمون
us.
رفته رو افزایش
As you can see, the price is
رو
going
رفته رو
up now.
افزایش
It's
و
ascending.
بعد اینکه شکست
After
ایجاد
this
شده
breakout,
کندلی که افزایش نبود کندل دوم
the
خارج از
second
خط ترند
candlestick
تموم
was
شد
completed
این
outside
دوباره
of the
خودش یه
trend line. So that
فاکتوره
is
که
another
تاکید
factor
میده
for us
که
that is
خط ترندتون
confirming
که
that the
قیمتتون
price is going to
افزایشی
go up.
تاییدیه
So
میده به
that is a
خط ترندتون
confirmation for
که
our trend line
روندتون
that
داره
we're going to have an
افزایش میده
uptrend.
خط ترند رو
I'm not
پاک
going to
نمیشه
delete the
در
trend
اینجا
line.
یه قله
we have a swing high here.
این قله
The
نشان
swing
دهنده
high
ریزش
is telling us that we're going to have a decline, and this trend line
که باید پاس بزنه باشه که شاید
is
بخواد در
telling
آینده
us that
pullback
in the
ایجاد
future we're going to have a
کنه.
pullback,
بدون ریزش
so that
قیمت
you
کافی
know how
فقط
long
pullback ایجاد
the price is going to decline in the pullback.
خب پس
So
اساس
based on the
پس
trend line, we have two factors. We know that we're going to have an uptrend because the trend line has been broken here, and that is our first factor. And the second candlestick was completed outside of the trend line, so that is our second factor. And another confirmation is that this candlestick is giving us an ascending signal, and this candlestick is giving us the signal that we're going to have a pullback in the future and it's going to decline. So if this pivot here is broken, we're going to have a pullback. But in the pullbacks, the price doesn't exactly touch the trend lines. Before it touches them, it's going to retrace. So let's move on to the Fibonacci strategy. We can use several types of Fibonacci's here. We have partial, midterm, and overall Fibonacci's. I'm going to draw the overall Fibonacci first. You see, the price has kind of reached the 50 level. It hasn't reached it yet, but it's very close to reach it. So we say that it was touched. The retracement of our 50 level was 23 level, as you know. Or it could go down until the 11 level, but the 23 level is exactly on my trend line. So that was the pullback that we talked about. So after 23, the price is going to go up and reach the 61 level. So in the daily time frame, based on the Fibonacci strategy, my overall trend is an uptrend, but my midterm trend is telling me that I'm going to have a correction. So that is another confirmation or another factor for me that my overall elasticity is upward, but I'm going to have a correction in the midterm time frame. Let's move on to the 4-hour time frame. Based on the trend line, we have one trend line here that the price is going to decline up until here, and that will be our overall Fibonacci and the overall trend line and the pullback that we talked about. Let's draw the Fibonacci here. Right now the price is below the 23 level and it's trying to reach the 38 level. I told you that the 38 level is where we have pivots. It means that the pullback is going to be in this area. So when it reaches this, I'm going to exit because it's very close to the pivots. So when I draw the Fibonacci, I knew that the price was going to reach the 38 level, so I'm going to get the factors. What are the factors? The factor is that the 38 level overlaps the pivots. It means that the Fibonacci is drawn accurately. So as you can see, the Fibonacci is accurate because the pivots overlap the 38 level. So that is another factor for me, that the price is going to reach this place and after that it's going to go up. So why is my Fibonacci accurate? Because the pivots overlap the Fibonacci levels. After that, we're going to check the candlesticks. Let me delete this first. You see, based on Fibonacci, we have a decline. So let's see if the candlesticks confirm that or not. You see, the candlestick that is completed here is giving me a descending signal. So that is a bearish candlestick. So this candlestick has to come down. I told you that the confirmation is when the low of the candlestick is open there. So that is exactly what has happened. So this is another factor for me that the price is going to decline. I want to get another factor from this. You see, I'm trying to make my analysis more powerful. I'm trying to consider all of the possibilities. the low of the swing high was completed lower than the previous one, and the price has gone further than this area. It's lower than it. That is a confirmation for the correction that I'm going to have, and the price is going to decline. Let's draw the partial trend line here. So based on all of my strategies, I know that I'm going to have a downtrend. So I have all of these factors that we're going to have a downward movement. Let's draw the partial trend line to get another confirmation that we're going to have a downward movement. So we can say the price is going up where when the price breaks this trend line here, or when the price reaches this area. You say in my 38 level we have powerful pivots, so in the first collision we're probably going to have a retracement, and in this area some things are going to happen to cause an upward movement. So let's move on to the hourly time frame. So the previous trend line is still reliable. Also the partial trend line is reliable. We just have to adjust it. And as you can see, the swing lows have been completed below each other, so that is another confirmation for us. And look at the candlestick, it's giving us a descending signal, and it has been opened, and it's telling me that the price is going to go down. And as you can see, the pivots here have been broken, and it's telling us that the price is going to decline. Let's draw a partial Fibonacci here. It would be this. And that is our 50 level Fibonacci, or my overall 38 Fibonacci. You see the 50 level in my partial one and the 38 level in my overall one overlap each other. So I have all of these factors and all of these confirmations that are telling me that the price is going down based on the Fibonacci, candlesticks, trend lines, and all of the strategies that we have. We have 5 confirmations that we're going to have a downward movement. But when you want to get the confirmations based on the candlesticks, Fibonacci, pivots, swing lows, and all of these strategies, there's a possibility that only 2 of them tell you that you're going to have a decline. So you shouldn't trade based on that. For example, one strategy tells you that you're going to have an uptrend, 2 of them tell you that you're going to have a downtrend, and the other 2 tell you that you're going to have a sideways trend. That is a signal, a warning that the market is not good in that moment. You see, you know 6 strategies. Out of these 6 strategies, 5 of them give you a certain confirmation or a certain signal. For example, all of them give you a downward signal. You see, you shouldn't trade if you don't get confirmation from all of them, because it is telling you that there is an error in the market. So that is how you should do the factorization. You shouldn't just use one strategy or one method. You shouldn't just rely on your trend line or the Fibonacci. You see, I use all of these strategies. For example, in my euro-dollar chart, I'm going to draw the trend line here. This is my trend line. The overall trend line is giving me a descending signal. Also, the partial one is giving me the descending signal. Is the candlestick also giving me a descending signal? Yes, it is. Let's see if a pivot here has been broken, but you can see that, you see,
if this candlestick was just completed and the next candlestick had started to get completed from here and it was the beginning of it, you could get another descending signal from it because the pivot this is distant from it. But I'm online at the chart right now, and based on the pivots, I don't have the confirmation. If it breaks here, I'm going to get the confirmation then. But as you can see, the swing lows have been completed below each other. That is another confirmation. I forgot to tell you something in the pound chart. I forgot to tell you about the V shape and reverse V shape. You have actually 7 factors. You see, this is my V shape. So the next one has to give me a reverse V shape. So this is the first leg of my reverse V shape, and it has to give me the second leg as well. So let's draw the Fibonacci. This is 1 Fibonacci here. You see, it has reached the 78 level. The retracement of 78 at its maximum is 38. Excuse me, it's 50 level. But the price has gone down too much. So that is another confirmation for me that the price is going to decline. So based on the Fibonacci, you have another confirmation. If I draw this Fibonacci like this, right here, the 61 level overlaps the pivots exactly. So it's telling me that even though you still you don't have the confirmations from the pivots, and also you don't have the confirmation from your Fibonacci. But when the 61 level breaks, you can start trading. That is another confirmation for you. So this here is telling you that I shouldn't sell. Because if we sell, it's going to go up. I have to wait for the price to reach here and break this level, and after that we can start selling safely. And as you can see, we have another trend line here. This is our partial trend line that has formed a pullback, you see, and after that it has declined. It is giving us a confirmation that we're going to have a decline. And you also have another trend line like this, like that. I told you that in the middle of the channel of your trend line, you shouldn't trade. These are our pivots. So in this area, I shouldn't trade at all, because 3 of my strategies are giving me a descending signal and 2 of them are giving me an ascending one. So in here, I shouldn't sell. A lot of people might look at this candlestick and tell you that you should sell. Yes, you should sell, but in your long-term tradings. You shouldn't start the sell order here. You should start selling when the price reaches this area. After that, you can sell safely. But if you start a sell order right now, it will touch your pivots and it's going to go up and you're going to lose. So was that clear? You see that? We got the confirmations step by step. So one of you said that we have so many strategies that you get confused, but you have to use all of them. And you have to do the factorization from all of them, so that you see out of these 7 strategies that you have, how many of them are giving you a descending signal, how many of them are giving you an ascending signal. And based on that, you will know what order you should take. You see, I had a sell order there, but I exited at this point, because if I hadn't, it was going to go up. As you can see in the hourly time frame, right here, I exited here, then it went up, and after that it declined again. But I exited my order and closed it. I'm not going to start trading here because I have a pivot here. Excuse me. let's move on to the oil chart. Yes, it's the same in your oil chart. You have pivots here,
اون ترفند اون میگه ترفند یونیفکس رو
and you're
داره سیگنال نزول رو بهت میده.
based on your
قله ها دارن سیگنال نزول رو بهت میده. خط ترند داره سیگنال
all
نزول رو
of
بهت
the strategies, your trend line, your swing lows, all of them are giving you a descending signal.
ولی اینجا بودی
But the
سیگنال نزولت
pivots
بهت
are
میده که
not
با
giving you a
ترفند
descending
مختلف
signal. If the
باید
price
بیاد.
was here, it was giving you a
بیشتر
descending
وسط خط
signal.
ترند. ما میگیم وسط خط
You
ترند
see,
ما
I
باید
told you
بکنیم دیگه.
not to
وقتی ما
trade
بندازیم
when the
میفهمیم
price
وسط
is
خط
in
ترند.
between the two
فیبوناچی
trend
داره میگه
lines.
روند نزوله.
The Fibonacci is telling you that you're going to have a decline, a
فیبوناچی
downtrend,
داره میگه روند
another
نزوله.
descending signal for you
تا مثلا
up until
23
the 23 level.
الان وارد نشو.
But you
بذار
shouldn't
باز شه تا
start
وارد شه. یا
trading
اومد
right
بالا
now. You
از
should
بالا
wait
وارد
for
شه.
it.
چون اینجا اوردر فروش رو
Because if
باز
you
بکنیم چون
start
پیوت دیگه
trading
خط
right
بالا داره
now,
اتفاق.
it will reach the pivot and it's going to go up and you're going to lose. Excuse me.
در نظر
So
بگیر
we have to consider all of this.
بعد یک اساسی بکنیم از وسط شروع نمی‌کنن از اول کار باید شروع کنیم همیشه
I think we should start from the beginning.
قیمت برمیگرده میزنیم یا تغییر روند میزنیم
When
از
the
اونجا باید شروع
price
کنیم از وسط کار
retraces, that is when we should start the trade, not when it's in the middle of the channel. Yes, exactly. As you can, you have to understand where you have problems in your tradings. You get the factors, but you only get the factors from three or four of your strategies.
وارد اوردر میشی گیر
You're
میکنی.
going to start trading based on those signals and you're going to lose. So you have to be patient on the market
فاکتوراتو میده بالاخره بهت.
to get all of your factors and confirmations. If you don't get the confirmations now, you're going to get all of them 2 hours from now.
وارد میشی که سود روزهای قبل
But if you
معامله
have
راجع
all
به
of the
با
confirmations and you
اطمینان
have
وارد میشی.
started the trade safely, you're going to gain a lot of profits.
اینجا با ترس و دلخوره وارد میشیم با نیم لات وارد
You
میشیم.
see, you can
ولی
start
وقتی
trading
اینجا
here
باشی با قدرت و
stressed out
استقلال
and
میشی با
with
2 لات وارد
0.5 lot size. But if you get all of the confirmations, you can start the trade safely and with 2 lot size. That is better for you. You see, if I want to start a long-term trade here, I will put a sell stop below this here right now. It's not really well adjusted, but around here, I will put a sell stop here. So after the price reaches this, it is going to do a sell order for me on its own, but it's going to be a safe trade. Is that clear? Excuse me, I have a question. Please go on.
این فاکتوری
The
که گفتیم
the
برامون
factorization that you talked about,
اینا از نظر ارزشی یکسانن، یعنی
are
ارزش
they
قدرتی
all reliable
برابره یا نه مثلا یه سریاشون از یه سریاشون
equally? No, you see, you have to mix them all up together so that they are powerful. You can't say that, for example, the pivot strategy is more powerful than the candlestick strategy. No, you have to mix them all up together. For example, when you want to build anything, you have to mix them all up together, mix all of the ingredients together. You see, the most powerful one is your candlesticks. After that is your pivots. And after that, it's your Fibonacci, which is almost the same as your pivots. And after that, it's your swing low strategies. It's like that. But you have to mix them all up together. If you mix them up and you see that 3 of them are giving you an ascending one and 3 of them are giving you a descending one, don't start the trade. Wait for the price to give you all of the confirmations. For example, in here, we will wait until the price goes up and it gives me a swing high and it gets far away from the pivots. So we get all of the signals, all the descending signals from all of these strategies. And after that, it's safe to trade. It's like a puzzle. All of them are going to be put in their appropriate location, and they're going to be matched together. It's exactly like this here. If the pivot breaks, it's going to complete the puzzle. You shouldn't start trading here. You should wait for it to break this area, because if you don't, it's going to go up and you're going to lose. But if you don't enter the trade here and wait for it to go up and then decline, you see, and it starts producing candlesticks and reaches your pivots or your trend line wall, one of them is going to happen. But if you mix them all up together, that will be okay. And you can start a trade safely. Thank you. So if 80% of the strategies are giving us a certain signal, that is okay, right? Yes, that is okay. But if only 50% of them are giving you a certain signal, that is not safe enough. For example, in your AUD chart here, the price is close to the pivots. The candlesticks are not giving us a signal, and the Fibonacci can't be performed here. Let me draw it for you, like that. The price is below my 11 level, so they're not all matched together. I don't know if the price is going down or it's going up, and the candlesticks are not giving us any signals. We have a pivot here. It can't go down, but the candlestick is telling me that it might go down. The price is below my 11 level. The trend line here has been broken. You see, they're all giving us mixed signals. Can we say that that happens a lot when we have a sideways trend? Yes, a sideways trend happens a lot. For example, in this chart, it seems like we have a sideways trend. Yes, in your midterm time frame, you have a sideways trend. But in your oil chart, you don't have a sideways trend. It's inside the pivot. It is doing a very good zigzag pattern. It's going to decline like that. But right now, you're at the middle of your zigzag. I got that. Thank you. My strategy is the same. If we have 10 indicators and 7 of them give us a confirmation, that is where we can start the trade safely. Yes, exactly. I have read about the 10 rules of Roger Murphy. There are 10 indicators that if they are all matched together, they're going to give you the best orders of the week. It's just like the 10 rules of Moses. But it's going to be it's going to have a little bit of delay. But all of these strategies that you have learned are going to give you a conclusion without any delay. You're going to create and predict the price in your mind based on these strategies. If you know about the candlesticks, you're going to memorize the patterns and get professional on the market. Okay, so any questions? No, but can you please analyze the Dow Jones chart as well? Yes, please look at the Dow Jones chart here. We don't have a descending signal based on the trend line. You see, you have some trend lines here. One of them is this one. It was like a pullback. You have another one here, and this is your overall one. And you've had another one here that was broken. And another one was here, and it's been broken as well. So And so the trend lines are not giving us good signals in the midterm time frame. And you don't get any signals from your candlesticks. You see, you have one candlestick here that was kind of an ascending signal, but then it reached the pivots and it declined. You have another candlestick here that has given you a warning, but based on the candlesticks, you don't get a good confirmation either. So let's move on to the pivots. You see, you've had one pivot here and the price is stuck there. However, the price has kind of touched the pivot here, as you can see. So the pivots are both powerful and weak because it has caused retracement, but sometimes the price has reached them. So we don't get a good confirmation from that either. You see in here, based on the candlesticks, you see an ascending signal. Based on the trend line, you have a pullback. Let's move on to the Fibonacci. This is the Fibonacci. The price wasn't able to reach the 50 level here. And when the price is not able to reach the 50 level, that is giving us a descending signal. So if we want to draw the partial trend line, we'll note that we're going to have a downtrend, but the candlestick is giving us an ascending signal. The Fibonacci is giving us a descending signal. So they're all paradoxing each other. So you have to wait until the pivot is broken here. You get a descending signal from your candlesticks. The trend line is giving you a descending signal. That is okay. Also, the price has to go further than your zero line in your Fibonacci. So that is another confirmation for a downtrend. That is when you can start trading safely, but right now you can't start trading. You see, the price is in between these two pivots. If I start any trade, I might lose. There's a possibility that I'm going to lose. So I will put a sell stop here and a buy stop there, so that it either reaches my trend line here and breaks my 38th level and breaks my pivots, because the swing lows have been completed above each other. Excuse me, when you said that the price goes further than our zero line, can you please explain that more? We have talked about it before. It's very simple. You see, when you draw your Fibonacci, for example, in here, imagine you have drawn this Fibonacci. If your Fibonacci is broken, if the next candlestick gives you a long shadow, or if the next candlestick is completed below this zero line here, that means that your Fibonacci is unreliable and you get another confirmation for a decline. So you can understand that ahead of its time. Whenever the price reaches below the 11 level, it is giving you a warning that there's a possibility that your zero line is going to be broken as well. And when is it confirmed? When a candlestick is completed outside of the zero line. So when your zero line is broken, it means that your Fibonacci is unreliable. But it's also giving you a descending signal and a confirmation for you that you're going to have a decline. But your price shouldn't come below your 11 level. If it does, it's a confirmation or it's a warning that it's going to break your zero line. Is that clear? Did you understand that? Yes, we did. So pay a lot of attention to this. I told you that you can be a good trader and not be afraid anymore and be better at your trade is when you mix all of these strategies and use all of them together.
نداشتیم بریم روی چارت دیگه.
If it's not
نبود چارت دیگه.
if it's not
نبود روز
performed
دیگه معامله
in
کنیم.
a particular
چون
chart, move on
وارد
to
بشی
another
یه سری
chart.
خطا می‌ریم وقتی ست
If
نباشی.
if they are not performed in any chart, don't trade that day.
خب سوالی
Any
اشکالی نیست؟
questions or problems? Excuse me.
ببخشید.
جان.
یه زمانایی هست
There are
برای
some
کشیدن
times
خط
for
برقرار
when
ما
you want to
مشکل
draw the
داریم.
trend
مثلا
line,
این مقدار
you
دلاری
come
من
across
مثلا
obstacles. For example, can you
بله.
please move on to the USD JPY chart in your daily time frame? Yes, okay.
ببینید
You
الان
see the
شادویی که
shadow
داریم
that
اینجا
it has
الان
here
کشیدن خط ترند رو خیلی برام سخت
makes it
میکنه.
very hard for us to draw the trend
این
line.
وقتی اینجا
You see, when
شادوهای
you
ما
have
باید
these shadows like
وقتی
this, you
اینجا
have to
شادوهایی
memorize
که
this.
داریم و کندل بعدیش
When you have this long shadow and the next candlestick also has a shadow and it's completed inside the previous one, that is a rejection.
درست.
You have to draw your trend line from here.
اینجا هم برگشت
You see, it has shown you the retracement as well. You have another trend line here.
به اینجا.
You have to connect it to this point.
نظر من اینه که دلار بریم و بیا دیوار بالا رو
I think
بزنه.
that in this chart, the price is going to reach the top wall. Yes, it seems like you have an ascending trend. But in your USD JPY, you have kind of a sideways trend because the candlestick is giving us a bad signal.
الان تحلیل بهترین حالتی که توش استفاده تحلیل ولف
The best thing that we can use here is our wolf technique.
کندل استیکاش الان میگم یه کندل استیک که خود فیل دارم
The candlesticks are getting faded out. The trend is not good enough. It was very good last year. Let me see what Fibonacci level it is.
چند تا فیبو داره
And you can draw several Fibonacci's here.
فیبوی 80
This is our 89 level, and you can also draw this one and also this one.
اینو بگیریم
I think this one is better and more accurate because you've had a retracement here.
فعلا خونی درست کاری نداره من الان خودم خیلی وقت رو دیگه درست ترید نمی‌کنم
I don't usually trade on the JPY because you see the price is stuck on this pivot here. You can only use the wolf technique. So it's better not to trade on it right now. It is not giving us clear confirmations. It doesn't have the factors.
توی کندلا رفت و برگشت این کندلایی توی شکم هم دیگه تموم شده و رفت و برگشت
You see fluctuations and candlesticks that are completed inside their previous ones, but based on the wave, you will know if you're going to have a good trend or not. If the market is good, the Fibonacci's are performed very well and you have very good zigzags. Excuse me, I think the market is closed down in Japan. Why? I don't know. The market has been closed this week completely for 10 days.
آها احتمالاً از بازارش به خاطر این سایت شده
Oh, that is probably
احتمالاً بازار
the reason why we have a sideways trend here.
سایت بودن بازارش خیلی وقت هست
Even though
بازارش به هم ریخته
it has been sideways for a while. You see, the market is not good anymore. It's not technical. In the past, it wasn't like that. The Fibonacci and candlesticks were performed very well, but right now they don't perform at all. And the candlesticks are not giving us good signals. Excuse me. About the V shape and reverse V shape, can we please look at the euro dollar chart in the daily time frame? You see, it seems like are we going to have a V shape or a reverse V shape? No, the second leg of your reverse V shape is going to get completed. So you're telling me that the V shapes and reverse V shapes are getting smaller, right? Yes, exactly. You see, in a wave, whenever you see a long swing high, know that the tip of your V shape or reverse V shape is getting completed. That is how you can find out. Swing highs are giving us trend line signal or pivots or Fibonacci.
ترند ما عوض شده دیگه
So
قاعدتا
the trend line here
متداول
has
نیست
been
دیگه.
changed, right?
آره
The
دقیقا
top
شده
one
توضیح.
doesn't perform here. Is that correct? Yes, exactly. The
درسته.
partial one works.
چه زمانی بای اصلیتون شروع میشه یه خط
You have a central trend line here as well.
اما من خودم خطا داده بودم.
The one that caused me a mistake.
یه خط
This is your central trend line here. Be careful of this.
یعنی این که شکست شد
So
داری میگی
that if this breaks and you start buying, you have to
بشه میره برای
exit there. Because if this is broken, it's going to continue its movement. Thank you. You're welcome.
خب آیه
Mr. Turkey has said that
با تمام تمرکز کار کرد.
we have to get very concentrated on the market. You see, people who are busy and who have a job that they have to be outside for most of the day, the best time for them to trade is around 3:30 p.m. I would start trading. I would determine my take profits and stop losses, and then I would get offline. And after that, when I would get online again, all of my take profits had been reached. But it depends on your tradings. You see, for example, right now I'm very busy. During the day, maybe I only have 1 or 2 hours free time to look at the chart. I can't get very concentrated on the market, but yes, you should be very concentrated. But if you're working, if you're busy, if you're working a 9 to 5 job, you can start your tradings on your 3:30 a.m. 30 minutes after your daily candlestick is completed, you can start your midterm trading and put your take profit on the market. And after that, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be online on the market. Your take profits are going to be touched. Or you can put a buy stop or a sell stop on the market. Excuse me, should we start trading on 1:30 or 2:30? It depends on your market. The best time for us is the 3:30. Some markets are open on 1:30. The ones that are in Cyprus or Dubai, they get uploaded on 1:30. And the daily candlestick is completed then. But for us, it's 3:30. So in 3:30, if we're going to have a swing high or a reversal candlestick, it's going to get completed then, right? Yes, exactly. In your daily candlesticks, you're going to have a swing high, a reversal, or an engulfing or a continuation candlestick. So you can get the signals based on them. Unless you have a small sideways candlestick. You see, for example, last night, if you were looking at this, you would know that you were going to have a descending signal. So you would have started the exited your sell trade and then exited. Or for example, this one. You shouldn't trade based on this candlestick though. But you could have started trading based on this. If this was completed, you could have started buying, put your stop loss below this, and your take profit on the 50 level. Excuse me? When we have a reversal candlestick, shouldn't we wait for the next candlestick to get completed? No, you see, we have some candlesticks that give us very powerful confirmations. For example, after a bullish candlestick, you get a bearish candlestick. And a reversal candlestick is inside the pivots. Sometimes that happens. For example, this candlestick is giving us a very obvious descending signal. But I hadn't seen that. I'm busy, as I told you. I'm hiring more staff so that I'm less busy, and I'm uploading daily videos of the tradings so that you can watch them and learn. If you determine your take profits correctly, out of 10 trades, 8 of them are going to work out. So you can check the channel or the group. There are some videos there of my analysis. And I would have had 2,000 or 3,000 pips of profits every week. So we're hiring more staff so that I'm less busy. That will be better in the future. But I'm telling you myself, people who are busy in the morning and they want to rest in the evenings because they're tired, the best time for them to start the tradings is 3:30 a.m. Okay, so any questions or problems? Excuse me, I have a question.
رو همین چارت داشتم.
Exactly on this chart.
فرمودید این کندل
Where you said that we have a reversal candlestick and we can
یه زمانایی هست ما مثلا
buy
توی حالتهای قله که ایجاد
sooner.
میشه مجموع
Sometimes when we
کندل
have a
حساب
swing high
می‌کنیم. یعنی
candlestick, we
جمع می‌زنیم
consider, for example, 3
چنین روشی هست. شما
candlesticks
تایید می‌کنید. الان صد کندل
as
پایین رو
one.
با هم دیگه جمع بزنیم یه کندل
Do
قله
you
تشکیل می‌ده.
confirm the strategies? Oh, what are you talking about? For example, this one here? Yeah, the one on the bottom.
تو پیوت
Yes,
بغل
these
هست.
3.
این سفیده و
For
این
example,
دوتای بغلیش.
this white one
قدم
and
کوچیک بغلیش. این
the
مجموع این سه تا.
ones that are next to it. Yes, you can consider all of them as a swing high.
حالا تو کتابا به اسم شوتینگ استار و
In the books, they're called shooting stars patterns. Yes, you can. But it could get faded out as well. You see, the main one is this one. Because in your candlestick strategy, you have to get the signals from every single candlestick. So there are usually swing high and reversal candlesticks that give you, that 3 or 4 candlesticks give you one signal. If you get the confirmation from every single candlestick, that will be better. So if we do that, this reversal candlestick had to get opened. So after that, we could have get an ascending confirmation. No, you see, this is a very powerful candlestick. There are some candlesticks that I was talking about. You want to get the confirmations, right? And I told you to use all of those strategies, but it's only like this in candlesticks and pivots. You get the factors from your candlestick. The first factor is the shadow, the second one is the body, the third one is the pivot, the fourth one is your swing lows and their size. If you get all of these factors and all of these confirmations, you don't have to look for anything else, or you shouldn't expect anything else. There's a possibility of fading out as well. For example, sometimes the price gets stuck or a news is published suddenly and it fades out the candlesticks, but it doesn't happen very common. So because this one is completed inside the pivot, we can't rely on it, right? Because the reversal candlestick is inside the pivot. Yes, exactly. And the pivot was an overall pivot. It was very powerful, and it was also its first collision. I can't see the past of the market, but I think it's the first collision of this in the yearly time frame. So that is very powerful when it's in its first collision. You see, imagine you're hitting a glass wall. When you hit it for the first time, it's going to be very powerful. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I'm going to upload the video. Excuse me, I wanted to show you the gold chart. Okay, what is your username? If you click on the market, you will have access. And can you see now? Yes, you see this candlestick is completed inside the pivot, and you can say that it's a swing high candlestick. So it is giving us a confirmation that we're going to have an ascending trend, even although not all of them give us this confirmation. No,
دردن رو میزنه.
but
صبر کنم اینجا ایرادتون بگیرم
let me
این
tell you
مثلا
what your
میشه
problem is.
افزایش
درسته.
You see, this is an ascending signal for us, right?
دیگه
But it's
ببین من دارم
inside the pivot, as you can
اینجا
see.
این کندل دقیقا افزایشش رو
This
داده
candlestick has caused an upward movement, but we've had a pivot here.
صحبت از نه
You
ببین
see,
من دارم صحبت از این میکنم میگم
I'm
کندل
saying that there are candlesticks, the
و قله
swing high or reversal
درست با
candlestick,
کامل
that
باشه تو
when
دو
the
سه تا
factor is
کندل جواب
completed,
میده خب
it's going to work out
این تفاوتش با
in
این
3 or
شکله
4 candlesticks. That is the difference
این
between them.
شکلیه
Or you see,
این
the
کندلستیکت گفتم اینقدر شباهت ها نزدیک به
in
هم
your
هستن
candlesticks,
یعنی با این
they're
طرف
very
تمرین
similar
کنی
to each
اینا
other
دوتا
that you
بخوان
have
یک بار
to
در کنار
practice a
توضیح
lot so
بدیم
you can get
چون من
that.
اسپاش اینجا صحبت میگم من ایرادتون
When you were
گرفتم
talking, I
خب این افزایشش داده
knew
پیوت
what your
اینجا
problem was. You see,
اینجا پیوت
it has gone up, but you've had a swing low pivot here.
بعد میگم این چه قدرت
But
زیادی داشته که
how
بخواد این پیوت
powerful do you
برسه
think
بالا
this is to cause an upward
این
movement?
تفاوت من شکل کندل رو فقط
I
دیدم
just
من وقتی
looked
که این
at
شکل
the
کندل رو میبینم
candlestick and how it
فقط
looked
روی
like.
یک کندلش حساب
When
میکنم
I see this, I'm only going to
ببین
consider
وقتی
this one
مثلا
candlestick. But
کندلستیک
when we
اینجوری
have
میبینم
this candlestick
من
here,
خودم تو ذهنم دارم فیبوناچیشو
in my
میزنم
mind, I'm
یعنی
drawing the
میگم این با یه
Fibonacci,
پنجه
and I
حرکت
know this is
کرده
my 50 or 38 level of
پنجه یا
Fibonacci.
شست یک
Excuse me, 50 or 61 level.
کندلم
Because the
متفاوته
candlestick is different from this one.
بله.
شکل اینو نگاه
If you
کنید
look at
چقدر
this, you see
تفاوتش
that
با
it's
اینجا
very
باشه
different from this
این
or this
برعکس
one.
اینه
This is the
این از
opposite of
پایین
that
داده این
one.
از بالا داده حالا نگاه کنید چه شکل
They're the
متفاوتی
opposites.
داره
And yet now you can see how different they look.
باید خیلی زوم
So you have
کنید
to
روشون ببینید
zoom in on them.
کندلستیک رو باید خیلی
You have
کار
to
کنید
practice
به
candlesticks a
مقدار
lot.
کندل استیک رو اگه میشه یه دور دیگه
Um,
اون کندلایی که به هر
is
حال
it possible to
موومنت داره یه دور
review the
اگه سری دیگه
candlesticks,
بذارید
the important ones?
جلسات
In
بعدش
our
میشه
future
الان دیگه
sessions, we can
آموزشاتون
do
داره
that.
تموم میشه این همه آموزش آخرتون
This was your
ببینید یک
last
معاملات اسکلپ
subject. When
معامله
we do
که
scalp
آموزش
tradings,
داره
we're going
یعنی ترتیب
to
کندل به شکل میگیره من
teach you
نقشاتون
how
رو
to
دارم تو گروه
start
نیستم
and
ما
take
درست باید
orders.
بشینیم
And
وگرنه
then we
الان دوباره
can
بیام همه اینا رو
review the
تکرار
candlesticks.
بکنم
But if I
سال
repeat the
جمع بشه نکنه
candlesticks
خودتون
now,
فایده نداره
until you
من
have
تک تکشون رو
practiced it
اوردر
and you
میگیرم
have experienced it, you're not
چون
going
باید
to
شکل
understand.
بگیره شکل بگیره و همون لحظه اجرا بشه
Because the
ببینید این
candlestick
شکل
has to get
گرفته
completed before
من
your
میدونید که
eyes
من
and
نمیتونم
perform.
یک روز صبر کنم اینو مثلا بهتون آموزش
You
بدم
see, I
کنترل
can't
قشنگی که
wait
بخوام
one
تارگت
whole
زدم
day
فردا میشه
for this to get completed so I can teach it to you.
مثلا این
پس
دو تا
داریم
شکل من
جلسات
شما
بعدی
آردر
You
گرفتم
see,
ترکیبیاش هم طبق همین طبق توضیح میدم
when I
و
start
کندل
taking
بعدیش که تموم
orders, I'm going
میشه
to
میگم خیلی خب این تعریف
explain
تموم شد
these for
اینجوری
you.
نباشه
For
من خب
example, if
حالا
the
اینو
next
خیلی
candlestick is
توضیح
completed
اینجوری باید
here,
یاد بگیرید
you see the location where it's completed, and then you can
شما تو جلسه
understand
بعدا
it
این موضوع
better.
گفته میشه
In our next
ممنونم
sessions,
خسته
we're
نباشید
going to talk about this.
دو تا
Don't
خلاصه
worry.
گفتم تا حالا تمام جلسات چیز شده آپلود شده جلسه آخرتون رو من فرستادم آقای
Someone
رحیمی هم گفت آپلود
has
کردم
asked me to upload all of the videos. I have uploaded all of them.
ببینید
Don't
تشریف
worry.
ببندید زودترتون گفتم
Okay, so
آموزش بیس
now
معاملات زندهتون همینی که الان
we
داشتم
have
توضیح
talked
میدادم
about
بعد
all
داشتم
of the
کلا
subjects that we
آموزش
wanted to
میدم تا
talk
کشور
about,
الان تو گروه بعدی
and I'm
میذارم
going to
که
send you
کدوما
the
مونده برای
video
آموزش
of
داده بشه
all of the things
نه
that
نقش
we
روانشناختون
haven't talked about
مونده
yet, but
نقش
the
اشتغال
psychological
نگرشتون
points
مونده سیگنال معاملاتیتون مونده که
and
همین
QA
معاملات آموزش
sessions
زنده و فلان اینا سیگنال معاملاتی
and
کدوم
live
بحثش رو داریم
tradings, all of them
معاملات میان
are
مدت بلند
still
مدتتون گفتم
subjects that we
تشریف
haven't
تو
talked
ران
about.
سایدم گفتم استراتژی معاملاتی که همین الان
I'm
بهتون
just
گفتم
checking
وارد
all
حضور
of the
میشید تو این
headlines
معاملات
and subjects to see
زنده
which one
تونستم
of them I
استراتژی
haven't
رو
talked about.
گذاشتم ترکیب فاکتورگیری رو گفتم
But we have
الان
talked about all of them.
کندلا رو این که هیچ فرقی رو نمیشه این دوستان تا یه
There are two
روانشناسی
or
مونده من به
three
اصطلاح ترم 4
sessions
سمستر
left,
آخر باره
or 3 or 4 subjects
میگم
left for us
سیگنال
to talk about.
معاملاتی یعنی گرفتن معامله و سیگنال معاملاتیتون
We're going to talk about
و
psychological points and how to take orders and
استراتژی معاملاتی من که گفتم
your
باز که دوباره
trading
مرور میشه یعنی من
strategy,
بحثا تو
and
استراتژی
we're going to
معاملاتی میگم
review all of
مرور
that
میشه
as well.
شما از نظر آموزشی دو سه جلسه بیشتر نموندی ولی خب من احتمال چند جلسه رو اضاف
You
میکنم
have
براتون
2 or 3
که
sessions left, but
قشنگ
probably I'm
تحلیلات
going
رو کلا
to
گرفته
have
بشه
more sessions with you.
اشکالی براتون
We're going to have a QA session so that you can understand this better.
کلی وقت نتونستیم ویدیو
Excuse
نگاه
me,
کنیم رعینی هم جواب ما رو نمیده هر وقت
I wasn't able to watch the videos for a long time. No, the videos are uploaded.